My name is Josh Gishner. I am a sophomore in the College of Arts and Sciences, where I'm a History and Judaic Studies double major, and I am the Shabbat and Ritual Chair person at Hillel. I went to Israel with Professor Freund this summer on his archaeological summer program in Israel. One of my favorite locations that I went to in Israel would probably be either the Dead Sea or Jerusalem, which is full of archaeology. The Dead Sea is just an amazing experience in itself. It's surrounded by the Dead Sea Scroll archaeology, and Jerusalem is the holiest holy part of Judaism, and it's full of archaeology from a Christian holy site in the center of the Christian quarter known as the Church of the Holy Sepulchre to Judaism's highlight, the Western Wall or the Kotel. There's amazing finds everywhere in Jerusalem. One of the most exciting things that I saw in probably in the Dead Sea area in Qumran was I visited one of the Dead Sea caves where one of the Dead Sea Scrolls was actually found. I visited Qumran with Professor Freund, and we went to the Qumran Museum, which is all about the Dead Sea Scrolls. And after we were done, since we were with a real-life archaeologist, not just one of those fake ones you see on TV, he brought us to an actual cave where the Dead Sea Scrolls were found. Professor Freund brought the 6 of us down to the central point of Israel, to Qumran, which is the site of where the Dead Sea Scrolls were found. And we went on a little trip into a museum, and we got to see some real-life archaeological pieces of where Qumranians were living. And he actually brought us into one of the real caves. We walked about a 5-10 minute path and walked up to this cave and actually got to go inside where pieces were found. The Dead Sea Scrolls are fascinating because it proves that Judaism is an old religion. Before the Dead Sea Scrolls were found, we just had, with faith, the Jewish people had faith in the fact that Judaism was so old, but we now had a 2,000-year-old document proving that. In the Dead Sea Scrolls, we have everything from Genesis to Numbers through to the prophets, but there's one piece that is missing from the entire Hebrew Bible. We don't have anything from the Book of Esther, from the Purim story, which is interesting. Some scholars believe that it was because the name of God is not mentioned at all in Megillah Esther. But the Dead Sea Scrolls also paint a picture of what the Qumranians were doing, what their lives were like, living on the Dead Sea, which is very hot, very salty, and there were no women around. And they were kind of like monks before there were monks, living all together in peace and harmony, or so it seems. There was a copper scroll found among all of the parchment, and on line 25, it points to the fact that there are temple treasures in a very specific cave, in a very specific part of the Dead Sea area. And in 1948, I believe, Yigal Yadin actually found this, but he didn't realize where it was from. He believed that this was from the Bar Kokhba revolt in 186 CE, I believe. But in reality, Professor Freund, who went back to the cave known as the Cave of Letters, where Bar Kokhba, this revolt leader, where all of the letters were stored that he wrote back and forth, were found. He believes that this wasn't from this time period, but it's actually from about 200 years before, after the destruction of the Second Temple. He believes that these treasures, which include an incense shovel, which we have here located at the University of Hartford, is actually from the original temple. So if you want to see a piece of the original temple in Jerusalem, Professor Freund hypothesizes that we have it here at the University of Hartford in the Museum of Jewish Civilization in Mortenson Library. In Jerusalem, probably one of the greatest things that I saw would probably have to be the Western Wall itself, which is full of history, full of culture, full of religion, full of everything that I stand for, and it was just a beautiful experience. Caesarea is located on the Mediterranean, right above Tel Aviv. And actually one morning, our Arabic professor, Professor Dawarsha, woke me up and said, "Hey Josh, do you want to go to Caesarea?" And I said, "I don't know what Caesarea is, but okay." So we got in the car. It was like 9 o'clock in the morning, me and 3 other students. And we went on an hour-and-a-half trip drive from our kibbutz located on the north shore of the Sea of Galilee, going all the way to Caesarea. And we didn't know what to expect, but it was an amazing experience. Caesarea is a magical city that was originally built by King Herod. He was a Roman king of the Jews. He was a very, very good leader, but he was crazy. He built a palace on top of Mount Masada, which you can go and visit today. Take a cable car up. You don't want to walk it if your knees are not doing so well. But anyway, he built this fantastic city which allowed for ports to come in. And after the Herodian era, eventually the city would be passed on to different groups that would be running the Holy Land of Israel. And each group would do a different thing with it, and they left their markers. We have, there's a Roman circus. There is evidence of every single society, from the Ottomans, when the Muslims took over, to when it was Christianized, when it was under the British mandate, and then now that it's under Israel's mandate, it is being excavated, and it is right on the shore. It's beautiful. It's full of history, full of archaeology, and full of just amazing things. And it's just one of my favorite places in Israel, if not my favorite place. For people who want to travel to Israel, it's not 100% safe, but it is very safe. For people that want to go on a Taglit Birthright free trip to Israel, or for people who want to go with a school like with Professor Freund, they're in really good hands. As much as you see in the news, it isn't quite like that. There are certain areas of Israel that you don't want to go, but then there are other areas that are really, really nice and really safe. So it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and you should go.